With 67 yeas, 21 nays, and 1 present, we have concurred in Senate Amendment 3 to House Bill 1228.
The Arkansas legislature on Tuesday passed its version of a religious objection measure that has been criticized as having the potential to be a vehicle for discrimination against gay couples.
We're heartbroken about it. I mean, this is my home, and at the moment, I don't feel like I can live here anymore. I think when people pass laws to shame, humiliate, and hurt other people, when your own government passes a law like that, it's a dangerous place to be.
And if it's done in the name of religion, it's incomprehensible that anyone who really has a relationship with God would believe that was even necessary.
You know, it's a law that's already in place in more than half the states. The federal government already has a strict scrutiny standard. The reality is what we're doing here is really not all that remarkable. I do understand that it's kind of taken on a life of its own, but that's just the way things go. So it's kind of overwhelming, but I'm glad to have it done.
I think that we have potentially opened the door for people to interpret this as the ability to treat others differently based on our religion, and I don't think that's what my religious beliefs are, and I don't think if Jesus were alive today that that's what he would be telling us to do.
This is not a restriction on individuals. It's a restriction on what the government can do or can't do in limiting the freedom, religious freedom of an individual. That's what this is about.
The measure has provoked backlash from businesses and gay rights groups. On Wednesday, Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson called for changes to the measure, saying it was not intended to sanction discrimination based on sexual orientation.
And I've asked that the leaders of the General Assembly to recall the bill so that it can be amended to reflect the terms of the Federal Religious Freedom and Restoration Act. In the alternative, it can be simply have some language changes so that those accommodations and changes can be made. So it can either be done by recalling the legislation or having additional legislation that would accomplish those changes. My responsibility is to speak out on my own convictions and to do what I can as governor to make sure this bill reflects the values of the people of Arkansas, protects those of religious conscience, but also minimizes the chance of discrimination in the workplace and in the public environment. It is important to recognize that the bill, even as currently drafted, does not change who we are. And it does not change the current protections against discrimination. This bill simply defines a standard to determine the right balance. But how do we as a state communicate to the world that we are respectful of a diverse workplace and we want to be known as a state that does not discriminate but understands tolerance? That is the challenge that we face.